let's look at how you can create graphics, lower third, titles, opening sequence, any of that type of content. Now, the goal of all of this is to either set the mood for the project or to inform your audience. And it includes all of those things I mentioned. Something to keep in mind is that one thing to keep in mind is that on social, 80% of video is watched without sound. So adding title, adding these information pieces are critical to your viewers. Now we have a separate video for how you can caption and how you can create transcripts, so make sure you check that out. This video is going to be specifically focused on things like titles. So the first thing we're going to do is change to our caption and graphic workspace. And if it looks strange, make sure you reset it to the saved layout. To get started, I'm going to go ahead and select my clip, and I'm going to go ahead and mute my audio so we don't keep scrubbing on it. And I'm going to begin by adding a new layer. So I'm going to go to Graphic, New Layer, and in this case, we're going to add a rectangle. And let's just fit this on screen so we can see where this rectangle is going and what size we want this. On the right-hand side, you can see our editing tab has came up, and we can go ahead and edit this rectangle. And this rectangle is going to serve as kind of a background for our title. So you notice you can color pick into anything on the screen, or you can enter a specific color value if you want to brand yourself or do some organizational branding. While I'm here, I'm also going to decrease my opacity. Now I'm ready to add some text. To do that, I can grab my type tool and start typing just by clicking down, or I can do Command T and that'll create a new text layer. Either way works. So we'll go ahead and type. Then I can use my selection tool to simply move this in place. Notice now I have two things in my layers. So if I need to select that background, I can do that. Now, just like we changed the color and the opacity of our shape, I can also change my fonts, the size, all of that. So right in here, I can drop down and choose fonts. I can alter any type of text properties, alter the size, either by scrubbing or by typing in to that value. And finally, I can change color. Now, one thing I'll mention on color is that you always want your lower third to be very readable, very clear. So make sure you have good contrast no matter what you do. Now, looking in our timeline, this is our lower third. And just like any clip, we can simply come in and edit or trim that as long as we want. We can also, if we want, add some effects and keyframing to this for a little movement. So over in my Effect Controls panel, you can see I have my graphic, which is this entire set of text and background. If I look a little closer, you can see I have the text layer and the shape layer. So let's work on keyframing those individually. And I want to come down to my Transform panel. And I'm going to say at right here at this point, this is where I want that shape to be. So I'm going to go ahead and select the shape, and I'm going to click that for my position. Now I'm going to move this forward, and I'm going to move my shape. And I can hold the Shift key down if I want to make sure I'm keeping that even. You can see it added another keyframe. Just drag that through, and it's just going to come in like that. Now let's go up to our text layer. Same thing, I'm going to go down to my transform, and I want these to kind of come in at different times. So I'm going to start this right here, and I'm going to move it to a different position. So I'm going to right there, and I'm going to click position. And I'm keeping an eye on where my other keyframes are. And we're going to say at this point, I want my text to be out here. And so our final look. Now, if rectangles are a little bit boring, I can also use my pen tool to create a unique shape. So you can see it's already adding a shape layer. And if I wanted, instead of having a rectangle, to have a different type of shape, I can do that. Now that we've created the best graphic of all times, we're going to upgrade it so we can use it again. So with my graphics selected, I'm going to go up to Graphics and Titles, Upgrade to Source Graphic. So this is my original. It's also the one that contains my name. So I can rename this over in this area so that I know which one is which. So I'm going to rename, and I'm going to say this is the original Heather. Now to reuse it, we're going to right click it again and duplicate. This copy is the one that we can reuse. So I'm going to drag this out into my timeline. You can see we have the exact same motion as we had before, and we can change that text. So I'm just going to go over to my edit panel, double click, and we'll just change that text. Notice that that does not change my original text. Then I can come back and rename this one appropriately. So you can do that as many times as you want to make sure that you have the same lower third on all of your slides. One other quick thing I will mention is you can browse all kinds of different motion graphics and templates right inside of here. Now some of these are free, some of these you need to have a stock subscription, but this is where you can start searching and find interesting titles that you can use. You can also import your own, maybe that you've created in After Effects, just by clicking that plus and adding your motion graphic template. So hopefully that helps you get started with graphics and lower third.